Welcome to my fiber journey, Twisted Dye Kitchen. This is Sherry, coming to you from Kirkwood, Missouri. This is episode 12. I even put lipstick on for you. I thought I'd sit outside for a little while. It's such a beautiful spring morning. Wanted to show you and sit with you in my little garden on my deck. Take out your coffee, your tea, whatever beverage that you want, and just sit and relax. Listen to the birds calling and talking to us, and let's enjoy today. I'm coming to you with a retirement acknowledgement, if that's a term. As you know, I was an account manager for a trade show business, and the trade show industry pretty much took a major hit when the pandemic came about in 2020. That was supposed to be the company's big banner year because the name of the company was 2020. We were going to have a celebration in 2020. And that pretty much ended in February. I was furloughed in June, and obviously we're still in the pandemic. We're not even having any type of trade shows. So that led me to the decision to take early retirement. As I mentioned to you the last time, I took a part-time job in a nursery, which I'm just thoroughly pleased with. I just enjoy being with all the flowers, talking with people about the plants that they have and what plans they have for their yard. But being retired from 30 plus years of working full-time, being the head of the household as a single parent, the responsibilities and the schedule and routines were necessary in order for me to be successful in the business that I had. Then retirement hit during a pandemic. Not being allowed to go anywhere or do anything really threw me in a tizzy. Which has come to a wall that I hit a couple months ago. And that wall was basically telling me, are you just going from one day to the next? And that pretty much got me thinking. And it got me thinking of, why am I unhappy? I have everything that I could possibly want or need. A home, a loving husband, a crazy dog who knocks me down all the time. I have a part-time job. I have my health. What is it that I'm just searching for? Well, I got my journal back out. Actually, my calendar. Sorry for getting off screen. Scoot over a little bit more. And I really found that because I wasn't writing in my journal or putting my thoughts down for the week or the month, it made me feel like I was kind of floating from one day to the next. I'm not a person who felt that a schedule, a routine was that important. And routine sounded so, I don't know, just kind of weird for me. But I found that it really did help me stay happy with what my thoughts, what my plans, what my aspirations were for the week. and in creating a plan. And what I found is that it is a creative outlet for me. It starts on a Sunday, and I prepare the week, and then I go a couple of weeks past, and on one side of my journal calendar, I put some creative pages, drawings, stamps, pictures cut out from a magazine, and I'll kind of show you. Here's what I got back in on with May. I'm not sure if you can see that all that well, but I got my rubber stamps out. I got some pretty collective stamps and pages from a magazine, verbiage that I got from the magazine, washi tapes, and I just started playing, and I felt so happy to do that. Make sure. So what I found out is the routine is so important for me. Journaling, writing down what I wanted to accomplish for the day or the next several days. Since I work part-time and I had some flex time in there because I had to cover somebody else's hours, I put those down in the time period that I needed to work. So that pretty much helps me. Here's my next week. I don't know if you can see that. It's a little house or a shed, and it's in a garden with a little path. And I said, what will be my creative path this week? And it's just kind of my means of keeping me on task, or keeping me feeling that I'm accomplishing something other than going from a Tuesday to a Wednesday, and then going to work. It was very important to me, and I wanted to share that to you. Not sure if anybody else is experiencing this type of floating during the pandemic with their loss of job, excuse me, or just newly retired, not forced from the pandemic. It's a big change. It truthfully is, and I was so looking forward to retiring so that I could play with all my spinning and knitting and my rug hooking. And then here I get to that, and I was struggling. I was unhappy with where I was, and I was floating from one thing to the next thing without accomplishing too much. So I hope that helps somebody go through what I've been going through. And maybe if you want to add a comment below, we can talk about it. Or you can message me on Instagram. I'm looking at a hummingbird who's going to be coming to one of the feeders. Yep. So let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what you do in order to keep yourself accomplishing certain things, certain goals, certain aspirations, certain new art programs, new sewing patterns, anything that makes you happy, and what your thoughts, what your ideas, how you keep on task for those things. I'd really appreciate hearing it. So today, by digging into this experience and finding out what is working for me and what makes me happy, I found out that why I've been stalling on my spinning. And it's really upsetting to me that I haven't been spinning. and I couldn't understand why. And partially, I think it's because at the very beginning, when I was spinning, I was considered an art yarn spinner. So I would um, core spin, I would spin very fluffy, textured yarns from art bats, and I would add embellishments to it. And I had so much fun doing that. And then I switched gears and went to trying to spin thin yarn, yarns that I could use for making my own wardrobes. And I came to the realization when I was writing down in my journal on basically yesterday was I'm going to get back to my art yarn spinning. I'm going to get back to what makes me happy from that perspective, and that will give me some feeling of accomplishment to get back to what I really, really enjoy doing. It was fun, it was creative, it was not consistent from yarn to yarn, from project to project. And I've been hearing a lot of people like Nick Collage, that she has a beautiful company that she created with her women from India that she's helping to support by teaching them this craft. And she's bringing back that art yarn feeling and fun and enjoyment in making and knitting bulky cardigans, sweaters, pullover sweaters, hats, shawls. I've been really watching that. I was watching yesterday Yarn and Yarns podcast. Hi, Angela. And her goals for May with her spinning projects. And that really resonated with me that I'm going to really start clearing off my bobbins, getting my wheels cleaned and oiled, and get them ready for some of my art yarn. And hopefully I'll be able to show you some in the next couple of weeks, some of my art yarns. I have some beautiful art bats that I've made, and I'm just going to spin them up and see what type of yarns I can create or what they're calling to me for. So I hope that's not too wordy or not too much fun, but it's still a process. It's still a path through my fiber journeys, where and what has led me to where I am today. We're constantly changing, but yet the core, the structure, the plan is still there. You can still have the freedom to deviate and to explore different options, but by having the base and your simple structure, I think will really help help your soul feel comfortable and happy again. And it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much at all. I love what I do. I'm happy with what I do, but I just need to get back to my basics. So enough of that. What I'm going to talk to you now about is the two projects that I still have on the needles, and I'll show you the blue cardigan. I put my buttons on, and I made an I-cord loop to close the cardigan, which I think is pretty fun. So I'll get back to you in a second. Hold on. Hi, I'm back. So I have 90% of my sleeve completed for one arm. And I'm really enjoying it. I like the little bit of the bell shape to this pattern. I think that's pretty cool. I'm gonna take this down to, I think the instructions call for 15 inches from the underarm. And then I'm not sure if that I told you this, but I'm gonna go ahead and add this design, this little motif, to the bottom of the sleeve before I, during the decreases, I should say. And then I believe there's like some type of an I-cord or some form of a little band that allows the puff to come and make a little cute little ending for that sleeve. So that, and then I'll be able to get to the second arm. Yes, I'm in no hurry because this is obviously colder weather, but actually we've been needing some sweater weather now because it's been a very cool spring. We've had a lot of rain lately here in St. Louis, and the rain has brought cooler weather, so some of my sweaters have been brought out. So that's almost, hopefully by the next time I should be on the other sleeve, and then I'll be able to show you what I've done to the cuff. So that is almost complete. If you want to know about the pattern and the yarns that I have, you can go into my previous episodes, and that'll be able to tell you what yarns I used. So here is my next on the needles project. And oh my goodness, I love this. And I also figured something out too with knitting. I think what I want to do with my knitting, very similar to what my plans are for spinning, is instead of making, and I don't want to make it sound rude, but I think I want to steer away from traditional garments that we all can knit and do things that are kind of funky, that when you would go to a store you would have went, oh, I really like that, but oh, I can't spend $200-300 on, you know, that sweater or that garment because I'll only wear it once or twice, or, you know, whatever. During the pandemic, I haven't been out shopping at all, so it's been kind of hard to, looking at a hummingbird who's at one of our feeders. This sweater, which is called Calliope. This is a free pattern. Can you see that? From Espatrico. I hope I'm saying that right. And I'm using Sweet Skein of Mine, Fall Off the Unicorn. I love it. So this is the top of the neck, so up here. So and it has almost the same structure of my blue cardigan, which has the ribbed pattern, and it spreads as it comes down into the yoke. But what I thought about doing differently, and as I had mentioned to you, and I'm trying to get a little creative even with my patterns that we knit, I'm going to go ahead where the knit section is of the rib. When it gets wider, I'm going to add the little tassels, just little ones, to the ends of the knit ribbed portion. And I'm not sure if I'm going to do the front and the back or just do the front, but I think I have enough to do that. But I thought that would be so cute and, again, fun and creative, and kind of think outside the box with some of my knitting and get creative with adding different ideas and embellishments to the projects. So that is what is on my needles. And here is the finished cardigan. And I'm not going to put it on because it's kind of warm in the sun right now. But I have the wooden buttons applied with an I-cord loop. And there they are. Aren't they cute? I love them. I think they're great. And they add just that creative pop that I wanted for something that's basic. And I've actually worn this a couple of times, as I mentioned. It's been kind of on the cool side, especially in the morning when I walk my dog, Tella, who's sitting right here. She has to be wherever I am, and especially she's sitting out in the sun, and she's all black, so hey, she's getting a little suntan. Also, I wanted to tell you something that was kind of wild. Sunday I was off from work, and I was letting Chella outside, and she was acting really weird, weirder than normal. She just wouldn't go outside. She wouldn't go near the door. She wouldn't go near the windows. And when she did, she'd go up to the window, and then she'd run back off. And her tail was down, and she was like our shadow all morning. We couldn't figure out what it was. Well, then I looked outside, and one of our, actually two of our shepherd poles that had the hummingbird feeders were knocked completely down to the ground. One of them was actually bent, and I was like, wow, that's really bizarre. I mean, we have, and the only thing that was knocked down and off the shepherd poles were the hummingbird feeders. And I thought, what is going on? We know that the deer like the seeds from the, because we have on the shepherd hook, we have wild bird seed on one side, and then we have the hummingbird feeder on the other. But the wild bird seed wasn't affected, and we're like, well, it couldn't have been deer. They're never that destructive, and if they do, they just bend it just a little bit. Well, come to find out, my husband and I were like thinking, so he wrote to Nextdoor. It's a program and app that you can communicate with your neighbors or neighborhood to find out what's going on, if burglaries or, cat missing, dog missing. Come to find out, we had a black bear in our neighborhood. So we're right on the edge of Kirkwood and Sunset Hills in Missouri, and we're like a block apart. Well, it turned out there was a black bear in Sunset Hills, and then the bear was coming through Kirkwood. Well, come to find out, that's why our dog was acting so wild. She was smelling this bear that was in our neighborhood and in our front yard. Thank goodness. Well, a couple of my ferns were knocked down too. I guess he was looking for something also. Well, we were keeping track of the bear, and the conservation department tranquilized him and then moved him out to the country. Well, we're finding out that Missouri has between 500 and 900 black bears, and they're coming out of hibernation, and the boys are looking for love in the wrong place. And they've actually come this far into our neighborhoods, which is, it's obviously, as you can tell, our area is very woodsy, and there's a lot of traffic in this area. So we were very surprised and glad that, one, nobody got hurt, two, that the bear didn't get hurt. Well, we're finding out that there is another one coming through. So my dog's going to freak out even more. So yesterday, I feel like I live in a zoo. Yesterday, I was sitting eating my lunch and in the living room, and our living room has all kinds of windows so we see everything. And here comes a little red fox that ran across our front yard into our side yard. And it's like, holy cow, what is going on? Well, I heard yesterday when I was out sprinkling deer repellent on all my plants, especially on the side back here. The neighbor who lives back here has a chicken coop, and she has, I want to say, 6, maybe 8 chickens. Well, they were really loud, more than normal. Couldn't figure out why that was. Well, here the chickens were calling the fox when the fox was disturbing the chickens, and oh, it was just what a hysterical day that was. So you never know what life's gonna bring, and sometimes it just brings some really bizarre um, experiences. But it was so much fun to see that little red fox running across, and they're so small, and I was really kind of surprised how tiny he was. But so I hope you're listening to the birds. I hope you're enjoying your day today. If there's anything in the world that we need a little bit more is kindness to each other. We need patience. We need to share the love with everybody that we know. And bring out your crafts, bring out your journals, bring out your calendars. Try to stay off your phones as much as possible and live in the moment. You never know when it's going to be your last moment or somebody else's last moment. So I hope you enjoyed this little different podcast today. Please hit the subscribe button. Please give me a thumbs up. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know the experiences that you've had these past weeks. Let me know if there's anything troubling you that maybe you and I have gone through the same experiences, and what did you do to overcome them? Maybe they might help somebody else out. So if anything in the world, try to enjoy it. And as always, enjoy the day. Bye-bye.